On a day when Indians are now all celebrating here. It's what we have been calling, Suesha, my parliament, my pride, and why not? We today have announced that our colonial baggage is something that we have dropped. Mr. Tripathi, I want your first reaction on this historic event that has been unfolding before our eyes.
You know, the way I see it, communities are essentially built around symbols. We cohere around symbols. And as Edmund Burke had said, humans are symbol-producing animals. Many things that we Indians ourselves don't know how much of the symbology around Delhi is actually built on British colonial rule. Something as simple as why the Rajya Sabha seat colors are red and the Lok Sabha seat colors are green is based on the British Parliament, because out there the House of Commons upholstery color is green and House of Lords is red, and the British just incorporated that when they built the Indian Parliament in the British Raj times. I'm not suggesting we change the colors, but we ourselves may not be aware how much of our symbology of our national capital is built on British colonial rule. And we must Indianize it. We must bring our own symbols into it. India is a young nation, a young republic, but it is a very ancient civilization. We're the only pre-Bronze Age culture that is still alive. We're the only continuous civilization from the pre-Bronze Age that is still here, that is still alive. And the Sengol, what it does, and many other symbols that have been put into the parliament, what it does is it reconnects the parliament, which is the sovereign, where the people have placed, the sovereign power to rule over us. The parliament must be connected to our ancient civilizational symbols. I'm delighted that that has happened.
But Mr. Amish Tripathi, you spoke about the symbolism. And that is exactly what the opposition party seems to be having trouble to digest. The very fact that we've been raising this concern, that for a very long time we have forgotten about our civilizational values. The very fact that today you have the Prime Minister installing the Sengol, and that many would say has got nothing to do with one particular religion, but more to do with the dharma and what a government should be following. So where lies the problem? Because the symbolism doesn't seem to be a problem here, but the opposition parties say that this is essentially a pet project of the Prime Minister.
It wouldn't be correct for me to get into the politics of it or the controversy of it, but I will state that when the Prime Minister says that the Sengol is representative of our dharmic approach to life, he is correct. As I'm sure you're aware, there is a North Indian term for the same object, Sengol. It's called Rajdanda. The Rajdanda has been mentioned in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata. It's been mentioned in Acharya Chanakya's Arthashastra. It's been mentioned in the Thirukural, which was composed by Thiruvalluvar. And it is supposed to represent dharma. Dharma is often erroneously translated as religion. That is a wrong translation. Dharma is actually above religion. The correct word for religion in Sanskrit is pantha. Dharma is that which sustains, that which holds society together, that which is balanced. And dharma works for the good of all. And the Rajdanda or the Sengol essentially represents, a commandment to the ruler, to the state, that they have to work according to the precepts of dharma for the good of all. And I don't see how that is a negative symbol. I will state once again, I do not want to get into the political controversy around it. Elections do drive what politicians say, and I completely respect the rights of all politicians to do what they must do to win elections. But those of us who look at society must look at longer term issues, and I think the symbolism of the Sengol and the Rajdanda are very important for India, and to reconnect the sovereign power of the parliament to our civilization.
Well, Well, in fact, Mr. Amish Tripathi, the aim was not to draw into.
I'm afraid I've lost your voice for a bit. Hello?
Mr. Amish
I'm afraid
Tripathi, I do not wish to really draw you into a political controversy, but am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Mr. Amish Tripathi, I don't wish to really draw you into a political controversy, but as an Indian, as someone who's been in London for quite some time, and more importantly, you've seen the way India is now viewed by the global community. The very fact that the Prime Minister today on several matters have essentially indicated that the role that India wants to play at this point in time. And today, to quote the Prime Minister now says that the time has come. How would you see that in terms of the significance of the new parliament, and more importantly at a time when we are positioning ourselves as a global power?
I must clarify, I am in London, but I'm not British Indian. I am an Indian Indian. I am here just on work, and I will return to India. I was born in India. I will die in India. And I think this is one of the most exciting times to be an Indian. One senses that excitement among the British Indian community as well. In fact, I'm in Cardiff in Wales on the launch of a book of mine, of War of Lanka. Large British Indian community, in fact, outside in the hall. You sense that excitement among them as well. And there are a few reasons for this. For many centuries, India was ruled by invaders. India's economic heft, its global power had declined. We are now recovering lost ground. Just 40 years ago, India's GDP was smaller than the gross sales turnover of the US car industry. We were that poor. Today, we're the fifth largest economy in the world. In fact, we've just crossed the GDP of the country I'm in, the UK, our former colonial master. At the pace we are growing, in another maybe 4 or 5 years, we'll probably be the third largest economy in the world. Our geopolitical heft is growing. Our cultural footprint is growing. This is a great time to be an Indian, and therefore our state must raise its game and its capabilities to be able to manage a much more powerful country, which is what the new parliament, the Central Vista project, what it does is it will aid the cause of efficiency as well. The present parliament that the members of parliament worked from was built during the British times around 100 years ago. The infrastructure was simply not good enough. Repeated complaints were made by MPs across all political parties. For the last 20 years, almost 15-20 years in writing. What the new parliament does is improves the infrastructure, improves the efficiency with which MPs can do their job. It will, the Central Vista project, the offices that are coming up will save money for the central government as well. I don't know if you're aware, the central government spends almost 500 crores per year on rent. Because they hire private properties where central government bureaucrats and officers work out of, and these are spread out all over the national capital region, obviously making communication and working a lot more inefficient. But if everything comes together around the Central Vista complex, efficiency will improve. We will save 500 crores per year on rent, so we will recover the cost of the investment that we are making, that the state is making within just a few years. So this serves the cause of efficiency, but it also serves the cause of symbolism. Our great centers of power and administration should not be colonial era buildings.